see you.
Good to see you. Thank you.
So, I mean, you guys are in the minority there in the House. What can you actually do? What does this censure resolution actually mean for Maxine Waters, especially if the House Speaker, who controls all the votes, Nancy Pelosi, says there's nothing to see here?
Well, under current House rules, Democratic House rules, she would be removed as chairman of the Financial Services Committee.
And how would you go about doing that?
As far as the censorship, well, obviously, the censorship would be administered by the Congress, and then she would be removed as chairman. Now, the House Democratic Caucus can change, or the conference can change those rules, of course. And with the history of the speaker, and I cannot believe that the speaker is defending these remarks, by the way.
You and me both.
It's unconscionable.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the things we often point out here is just the ability for the Democratic leadership to stand there and tell reporters, oh, no, our side, we did nothing wrong. There's nothing to see here, while Republicans will get out in front of it and they'll clutch their pearls and say, oh, I'm very concerned and we need to take a closer look at this situation. Doesn't the censorship, though, require a majority vote by the U.S. House?
Yes. And, I think that we ought to post up on that. I mean, there are members in 50 some odd districts right now, and these are what termed toss-up districts that are taking terrible votes. And I don't think the people in their districts are going to agree with Congresswoman Waters' remarks and agree that she needs to be censored. Right.
Can you imagine, Congressman, if you went to, I don't know, well, we don't have protests like this in Republican-controlled cities, but if you went to some place where you didn't live, you were in a different state, like you went to Texas or something like that, I mean, what is her business going to Minneapolis? She's from California. She works in Washington, D.C. I don't know where she lives. She doesn't live in her district. Anyway, I'll leave that there because I also want to talk to you about immigration as well.
Yeah.
President Biden's broken border. The president over the weekend, of course, finally called it a crisis. He said the quiet part out loud. But here's the press secretary, Jen Psaki, trying to walk that back yesterday.
The president does not feel that children coming to our border seeking refuge from violence, economic hardships, and other dire circumstances is a crisis.
I know you believe it's a crisis. A lot of Americans believe it's a crisis. We heard from Colonel West, Alan West, a few moments ago. He was talking about some of those mayors down there in the Rio Grande Valley. They consider it a crisis. But this kind of reminds me of the Obama administration. When President Obama refused to call ISIS radical Islam, I mean, they were cutting off people's heads in the name of Allah, but, it sounds pretty radical, but no, this is not a crisis either, is it?
Right. Now, well, let me tell you, it is a crisis. We got 20,000 unaccompanied children in the custody of our HHS down there right now. And we need to reinstate Title 42. In talking to the Border Patrol agents, they are begging us to reinstate Title 42, which, again, you go back to the question that Whip Scalise asked Dr. Fauci yesterday. He said, are these border crossings consistent with CDC policy? And Dr. Fauci said no. So Section 42 would, because of health reasons, turn these folks back into their country, into Mexico.
But of course, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but Title 42 was actually under Janet Reno in the Clinton administration, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and so, of course, if they acknowledge that Title 42 even existed, that, again, would require Democrats to reflect on their past history and what they've done in the past, that a lot of these, as it is now, some of the situations that cause, or the circumstances that cause these situations are actually their own doing.
Exactly. And, President Clinton made it very clear that the current immigration policy was insufficient for this country.
Yeah. And I'll ask you the same thing I asked Colonel West, because George W. Bush is out there talking about this now. And this is when we saw a huge explosion of illegal immigration under his watch. He says this is one of the biggest regrets of his presidency, that he didn't do more on this. What could he have done, and what would you like to say to the former president about that?
Well, it's the same thing that President Reagan did. He got a deal with Tip O'Neill, and he said, we will allow these people certain privileges, or some call it amnesty, to be citizens if you agree to secure the border. The Democrats never appropriated the money to build the wall and secure the border. So here we are. We have to build the wall. And right now, we've got the funds to do it. The contractors are sitting there and ready to go, and that President Biden stopped them. It's unconscionable.
Yeah, well, Congressman, I see that that jet over your shoulder there, the model plane. That's a Gulfstream plane, am I correct?
Yeah, Gulfstream 650, Gulfstream, about half of their workforce lives in my district.
Yeah, that's in southeast Georgia. That's where Gulfstream planes are manufactured. And I made a comment earlier criticizing Al Sharpton for flying on a private plane to Minnesota. I just want to be clear. I have nothing against private planes. I only have something against people like Al Sharpton traveling on a private plane to go to a protest. So I just want to make that clear. I saw that there. I know Gulfstream's in your district.
Well, I successfully flew the simulator. I've had some past pilot experience, and I got it off the ground and on the ground, and they rewarded me with the model.
Well,
and it was a lot of fun.
Well, maybe I can get one of those sometime in the flight simulator. I'll ask you about that sometime. I'd love to see it. I want one of those models, too. It's a beautiful plane. Anyway, Congressman Allen, great to see you. Thank you so much. We appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.